Alright, time for another math easy. So we're going to discuss something that came up in the news actually yesterday. Basically, Samsung trolls Apple, or basically Samsung they lost a patent lawsuit to Apple, so they had to pay 1.05 billion. But they're going to appeal it now. But the story's written basically that Samsung actually paid the 1.05 billion in 30 truckloads of nickels, or 5-cent coins. And is this possible? I just wanted to see if it's possible or feasible. The story I read from paperblog.com, but basically, yeah, a lot of people believed it was true, but this was actually originated from a 9gag meme. Basically, this one scumbag Samsung owes up 1.05 billion, sends 30 trucks filled with 5-cent coins to their main office. You can also see the source from this 9gag.com here. But basically, I wanted to see if this is true and basically if it's feasible, and I did an Excel sheet. I'll just show you right now. Alright, so this is the Excel sheet that I made. Basically, how much would it cost to ship 1.05 billion worth of nickels? Well, first thing I did, I had to get the standard shipping container dimensions. I looked at for the larger 40-foot standard container from WLGriffin.com. This is a shipping company. And if you click that link that's on the Excel sheet, you come up to their PDF on container information. Basically, it's 40-foot standard container. I looked at the internal length and width and height, basically at 2.3 meters high and 2.3 meters wide, roughly, and 12 meters lengthwise. Here, and then I just put it down inside here, and also it has a max payload of 26 tons, or 26,000 kilos, or 58,000 pounds. And basically, I just made a little diagram here. This would be how would look wide, how it would look when you're looking at the cross section, and this is the lengthwise of the container. So around 12 meters, around 2 meters, 2 meters height, and height and width. This is internal dimensions. And the second thing I did was go to basically usmint.gov. Basically, you could see the nickel dimensions here, and nickel is actually 25% nickel, 75% copper. Didn't know that, but anyways, the weight is 5 grams. The diameter is 21.21 millimeters, and thickness 1.95 millimeters. So it's pretty small. But then, so now what I first did was just basically look at the volume-based calculation here. Yeah, that's right, volume-based. Basically, I ignored the weight of the nickels, and then just see how much we could fill this up. And if Samsung owes this much money, the number of nickels you would need is, well, this times it by 20. Because there's 20 nickels. Yeah, there is 20 nickels inside a dollar. And then I looked at the effective container width. I just subtracted 250, or just below a foot, or 250 millimeters from every length of every width, height, and length, just because you need some space to move around the nickels, and also if you were to have some sort of stuff to hold them, containers inside the container, then you would need just some space, and also moving around. So I just didn't want to make it max right on it, just ease of moving stuff around. So basically, I subtracted 250 from every one. Effective volume is 53 cubic meters. So the number of nickels wide, you just divide this by the diameter. So you get 99 nickels wide, 1,000 nickels high, 500 nickels lengthwise. So it isn't too much. It's around 11 meters probably. So now the total number of nickels inside this is, well, this is how much? 60 million nickels. And mass of nickels in one container, well, that's 302,000. This is greater than the max payload, so we can't carry this much nickels, because this number is just straight metal there. And max payload is this, we're going to have 275,000 excess payload. So we have to look at weight-based calculation. Now, thus, we have to work, with max payload. Max payload, even though it's 26,000 kilos, well, I chose a slightly smaller one, but basically 1,500 kilos lighter, just because you don't want to be working with this in real life, especially it'd be easier to, just to have a safer drive for the driver, and also easier moving things around, and just safe driving and working conditions when you're in traffic and whatnot. You don't want to max out the truck. So basically, I chose 25,000 kilos here, and then you could just select basically any width and height of the containers that you're going to put inside. So I chose around 50. That's around 1 meter wide. And then I chose 500 nickels high. That's about 1 meter. So we have a square 1 meter in cross section, and then the lengthwise you calculate it. You can calculate this basically. I'll just write the calculation now, and that calculation is basically if you write the max payload. This is 23. This is the modified max payload. This just equals to, well, the volume, which is going to be width times height times length, and then times by the weight per yeah, basically the weight per 1 nickel. That's 5 grams, and then this is going to be per 1 nickel. And then you have to times this by, well, 1 kg over 1,000 grams. And then just divide these all out. You're going to have length is going to be equal to 25 kilos divided by width times height times 5 kg. And it's going to be 1 over 1,000 at the bottom here. And basically that's the equation I used right here. There's length times width times by the grams here. The mass of the nickel times 1 over 1,000, divide it all out. So we're going to get 200 lengthwise, around 4 meters. So it's much smaller than the actual container. And then total number of nickels in one container, this is around 5 million nickels versus the 60 million, I think, over here. So yeah, we have a lot less nickels, and then the worth of nickels in one container is $250,000. That's a lot of money in one container. And the number of trucks needed, basically 4,200 trucks. You just divide the total by this and whatnot. So then estimated cost of shipping one container. Well, I couldn't find a rough estimate, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be around $500 per truck, and upwards of somewhere around probably a couple $1,000. So if you just put on a low scale, 500 per shipping one container, we're going to get $2 million total shipping cost, and percentage of total cost owed is only 0.2%, and that's not even that high because you have a number, it's 1.05 billion. If you're going to pay that much, you might as well spend a bit extra. And I think it's definitely worth the shipping cost and also the headache that Apple will get for sorting all that costs out. And estimated cost of, if we increase this as 2,000, something a bit higher, we're going to get 8 million. That's only 0.8% of the total owed. So it's definitely worth it. And also get another idea. Yeah, but also, yeah, remember, the meme said 30 trucks, so it's definitely much more than 30 trucks, but it's still a lot of trucks, but still I think it's worth it. Anyways, let's just, another thing I just wanted to see, how high would you stack the nickels if you place it on a soccer field, just so you get an idea of just how ridiculous the number of nickels is. Well, if a soccer field is 100 meters wide, no, lengthwise 100 meters, 50 meters wide, number of nickels lengthwise, this one is just, well, yeah, you just, again, divide this by, use this round downs because we need exact number of nickels. And then if you divide this by the diameter, times it by 1,000 millimeters per meter, you're going to get number of nickels lengthwise 4,000. Then it's going to be 2,000 wide. No, then you calculate the number of high here. It's basically 1,890, and the height of this is 36 meters. So just imagine that soccer field. You're going to have a soccer field like this. Remember, it's a 50 by 100, and then basically a full 36 meters high of, this is just all nickels. This 36 meters. This is ridiculously high of all just nickels here, and then it's all going to be shipped to Apple. Well, that's all for today. I just wanted to basically go through this and show that although it's ridiculous and you need a ton of trucks, it's still worth it if you're, if you're Samsung and just want to, make Apple just troll Apples. I think it's worth it for that fact only. But anyways, this is a true story, and if you did fall for it, well, now you know. Well, anyways, you can download all these notes. You can even download this little Excel sheet I made on the Dropbox link below. Well, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for another Math Easy solution.